contacted Allpayacu Adventures to take us into the jungle for 5 days and 4 nights on a private adventure. We were picked up from our hostel and we rode by car for 2 hours to the town of Nauta, which is the only location connected by road from Iquitos. From Nauta, we took a 2-hour boat ride to Allpayacu Adventures Lodge. We traveled via 3 rivers, Marañón, Amazon and Ucayali, and finally ended up in the Yarapa-Cumaseba river basin. The views on the way were beautiful and we got really excited about the upcoming days.
Jännittää, kun se kertoo kaikista ökkymänkiäisistä ja käärmeistä, joita täällä on. Ja katsotaan sitten mitä tämän jälkeen.
The lodge itself was simple and practical, no luxury. We had our own cabin with comfy beds covered with mosquito nets, proper toilet and even a shower. As we are used to spending time at our cottage in Finland, this felt quite similar, but with the exception that it was in the middle of the jungle. The main lodge had a big dining hall and some hammocks. During the rainy season, when the river is flooding, the water level can raise up to 10 meters easily. Therefore, all the local buildings are constructed in a way that will ensure they stay afloat. The next days and multiple evenings we spent exploring the rainforest. It was remarkable. We saw close to 100 different species roaming free in their natural habitat. We were the visitors in their world. During the day hikes, we saw, for example, multiple species of monkeys. Including pygmy marmosets, the smallest monkeys in the world. All kinds of birds. Sloths. Insects, lizards, jungle rats, porcupines. During the daytime boat rides, we also saw dolphins and pink dolphins, and also one snake, Amazon tree boa. No pictures of that though. The forest itself was fascinating. There were enormous trees and all kinds of weird vegetation. Sometimes there was a clear path and sometimes our guide had to use his machete. Our guide also showed us some basic survival skills like where you can get drinkable water and for protein what kind of beetle worms you should be looking for from the wild coconuts lying on the ground. There were also lots of trees and plants used as natural medicine. With the wildlife, we were following a no-touch policy, meaning that we wanted to minimize all unnecessary disturbance to the local flora and fauna. As this was in November, the rainy season had not started yet and the forest was quite dry, but the air still felt quite humid, and it was very hot all the time. Also, it was necessary to use a lot of mosquito repellent and long-sleeve pants, shirts and rubber boots. So yeah, you can imagine the smell after wearing those same shirts pretty much the whole time.
Before our trip, I had been quite worried about the safety of walking in the jungle. I'm not a big fan of insects, snakes, spiders and whatever might be lurking in the bushes.
Mitäs nyt?
Täällä on vähän häkkiä. Miten me saadaan se ulos?
Ei kai siinä ole mitään.
But in the rainforest, it all changed. Even though we had to be really aware of our surroundings and walk slowly in the footsteps of our guide, my fear transformed into excitement.
Siis mä seison muurahaispesän päällä.
5 miljoonaa muurahaista.
The rainforest is not a zoo, so you may never know what you will see when you enter. But on every hike we saw something new, something extraordinary.
In addition to the daytime jungle hikes, we spent quite some time exploring the rivers on a small boat. We even went fishing, catching the famous piranhas and some catfish. It was really different from fishing in Finland. We had some chicken skin as a bait, and every time you put the hook into the water, something started biting it almost immediately.
Tässä on niinku 3 sekunnissa.
Oh, piranha. Is this a piranha? Heti ekalla suuri piranha.
Älä nyt. Mä sain piranha.
You really have to break your dinner.
Noniin.
Okay, I'm done here.
Okay, can you pass me here? Sieltä tulee kunnon piranha. Red-bellied piranha.
Wow. Hieno. Hyvä Riikka.
Se oli iso.
Good job.
My first fish ever.
First fish in your life, and it's a piranha.
Even though piranhas don't eat you alive if you go swimming, as they don't like to bite big moving objects, it's not recommended to tip your toes into the water and let them be there still.
Eka läpsytellään. Ja sitten heitellään tonne.
Päivästään kun Suomessa pitää olla hiljaa. Eiks pidä? Sitten muutaman sekunnin kuluttua. Lykii jo. Noniin. Ei. Kato.
Oi. Kaveri.
The nighttime walks and boat rides were super thrilling as well. We saw spiders, scorpions, lizards, all types of insects and some weird mammals. We spent some time searching for caimans, but this time without luck. And just think about all the animals that we didn't see, but which saw us. I bet we passed by so many snakes and venomous things that perhaps it's better not to know. Every day we had tasty breakfast, lunch and dinner at the lodge. The food was muy rico, and we both think that the best cooked fish we have eaten in Peru was the tiger catfish we had here. We even had a chance to eat the piranha and the catfish that we caught ourselves. There was always filtered water, coffee and tea available at the lodge. On the last day, we walked through the jungle to visit a local village called Libertad. If we remember correctly, some 300 people live there. We dropped by a local kindergarten and watched how local education happens in the early stages. Kids seemed happy and the majority were really engaged with the exercises they were working on. We decided to hire Allpayacu Adventures because after meeting the owner Mai, we understood that they are trying to change the jungle tourism industry for the better. Mai was born in the jungle in a small Amazonian village with 150 people, so he really knows the jungle by heart, has a huge respect for it and also understands how limited the opportunities are for the local villagers. He's aiming to use his business as a force for good and create opportunities for the local villagers by, for example, creating jobs outside the logging and mining industries and sponsoring scholarships for students from low-income families. In addition, he's educating the local youth on climate change and making regular donations of medicine and school supplies. We were so impressed by this adventure with Allpayacu that after the trip I decided to help Mai to renew the company's website so that perhaps more people would choose his services instead of the mass tourism operators. We will never forget what it was like falling asleep to the sounds of the nocturnal animals, the sounds of the jungle. When looking at the big picture and putting it bluntly, as Amazon is known as the endangered lungs of the earth, it leaves us thinking, what are we other than